morning, everyone. It's Nepo from hearthealthbrainhealth.com, encouraging healthy grieving and mindful actions. Today, I am out in nature again, and I had to make sure that you got a little view of the lake just behind me, and I'm hoping you can see it and enjoying it with me. I today am caught up in thoughts about the word surrender. And I believe that in spiritual circles, we come up with this word quite a bit. And I have to say, the last several visits that I've had with clients, this idea has come up quite a bit. And I wanted to share this idea with you with, of course, a few quotations, but then I'll elaborate a little bit. So the first quotation that I came upon was by Mark Nepo. And he says, surrender is like a fish finding the current and going with it. Surrender is like a fish finding the current and going with it. So this is the one thing that I find, one of the things that I find quite interesting about surrender, where a lot of times when we are put into a space where we have to surrender, where there is no option, it's almost easier to. So I'll tell you that I'm certainly aware of this experience in terms of relationships, because I know that God or the universe encouraged me or forced me to surrender to my experience. And I can say that I'm working with a lot of people in relationships that are coming to a place of surrender. And surrender often means accepting what is and actually joyfully accepting what is. And that's not so easy to do. So sometimes people are actually in a divorce process, and can I say I was joyfully accepting my process? No. I was joyfully accepting my love for myself, to know that I deserved something better than the experience that was happening. And that surrender allowed something better to happen. So that's relationships. And I can certainly say I see people who are dating and people who are in long-term relationships that are in this space where there is not an acceptance of something that is not good, that can either be accepted as not good and staying in the relationship, or changed by moving from that relationship. And oftentimes people need a little bit of space to think about, is this relationship giving me my needs? And let's say, I would say that all of us, if we were to look right at the basic needs that we need some peace, we need harmony, we need love, we need compassion. And this is a mutual need, right? So in relationships, this is a need that's mutual. Now, the same thing can be said in terms of health, where I'm noticing clients that I'm working with that are going through some significant concerns in health. And you know that I worked with cancer and continue to work with cancer quite a bit. And there is a place that comes for people, that can come for people, that requires surrender. Now, again, a lot of people know this word and the terminology is out there, and it's like, okay, I'm just surrendering to whatever there is. And oftentimes, there's still a little bit of, and it should happen this way, or this will be the right way, or that sort of idea. And when there's a surrender to a higher consciousness that's directing things, and not us and not our minds, there's a different space that's opened up. So when it's not our minds worried about, will this work out? Are things right? What's not right? That's what our mind will do. Our soul, or our spiritual side, can direct us to the rightness of something when we know that there's that baseline of love and peace, first for the self and then to the world around us. And when those aspects are really tended to, that I am choosing to have love and peace in my life, I am choosing to have happiness and joy, I'm choosing to have contentment, I am making an intention that this is the space I'm choosing to be in right now. Not only right now, for our whole life, right? But when you're going through a not easy experience, it's not easy to stay in that spot. But thoughts, words, and actions all matter. And this is what I've been speaking with a number of clients about, because what we're thinking, even if we're not speaking it, is going to have an energetic effect. If we're speaking something different than what we're thinking, they won't combine. There won't be alignment. If they're acting in a way that is not in alignment with what our thoughts really are saying, that this other aspect, this peace, that happiness, that joy, that stability, that sense of comfort and ease is not there in whatever situation. Even if you're looking for a new job, there is a place of surrender that comes, that when there is that space of, this feels right, this, I don't know why this feels right, but this just feels right, That's a place of surrender. So there is another quotation that I came across, which was fantastic because it actually really matches the things that I'm working through with clients. This quotation says, "Go home and let all of your relatives off the potter's wheel. You are not the potter." And I will find the reference for that. I know that there was actually a reference for that, but I will find the reference for that to put just below this video. And again, if you heard that quote, this says, "Go home and let all of your relatives off the potter's wheel. You are not the potter." So when we think we're directing something, we're going to make things go in a particular way. If we can come back to humility and recognize that no, something else is directing things to go in a particular way, and all I have to do is be sensitive and aware to the direction that it's guiding me in. And this is not easy, right? Because again, when we're thinking about that baseline of love for whether it's your work, whether it's your relationship, whether it's for your peace, all of that needs to be taken into account. But you are not really the one in control. And I find that this is in spirituality what we would think of as moving away from ego, because it's like, oh, if something works out great, I did that. If something works out not great, it's like, oh, should I be blamed for that? That's all ego, right? So there's something higher that's directing. It does also feed off of our thoughts, words, and our actions. So today I would love for you to sit back for 5 minutes after this video and just think about, are you letting your relatives, friends, workplaces, relationships off the potter's wheel? Are you recognizing that there's something else that is pushing you in a particular direction? Are you listening to that push and that guidance? I hope so, and I hope you'll think of one area of your life where you can maybe let someone off the potter's wheel. Okay, last quotation that I want to share is because, again, spirituality and ego, overcoming ego, are very closely connected. I wanted to finish with this quote by Radhanath Swami, and this Swami says, "Surrender means surrender of your ego." Surrender means surrender of your ego. And you would think, well, oh my goodness, if I'm working on my health, how can I surrender my ego? I have to take care of my health. And you do. There's a certain amount that you need to take care of your health. And even that decision to take care of your health in the ways that you can, like the proper nutrition, proper amounts of sleep, some exercise, all of that is also coming through your vessel. You are a vessel that is receiving information, not just because your mind is clever and you've read all the right things. You read the right things because something was directing you. You are doing the right things because something is directing you. And there is no doing something not right, because whatever you do, that spiritual side is going to support you when it's coming from your heart space. When your heart space is, I'm really in this, you are surrendered. Okay, so let the mind surrender and catch up with the heart space that you already know. You're just rediscovering yourself. I hope this helps, and I hope you have a fantastic day ahead. And I hope you remember, transform your mind and transform your life. Have a great day, everyone.